G'day guys, welcome to the Satday Sessions on Fanbabble Sports and the first episode without our overlord and previewer, Jamie Brown. He's not here with us today, but instead we've got Ashley Williams joining us for the first time. Ash, how are we?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No worries, mate. You're part of the Fanbabble Sports team, so it's good to have you here. Plus
Thank
the stalwarts, Scotty and Ben, welcome back again.
No worries, mate. Good to be here.
Good to be back.
Boys. Satday Sessions, you know what that means. Crack those drinks open.
If mine will get open.
He's off to a disappointing start, Benny.
There we go.
It is. Yeah, nice one.
You can write some commentating shit on that.
Oh, it's such a disappointing time when you can't even open your own beverage. Like, it's a terrible feeling. But look, we'll jump straight into it. The massive thing, I think our Jamie spoke about it last week a little bit, but then he wrote a blog about it. Danny Rick back on the top step of the podium in F1s for his first win as a McLaren driver. McLaren won too, and boy, was that a good race.
I didn't catch any of it, but that's his first.
Benny.
Yeah, that's his first win in a few years, is it? Or did he win any last year?
First win since Monaco 2018. So yeah, first win
that's what
Red Bull driver. 3 years ago, mate.
3 years. Wow,
3 years. But look, the main talking point from this race. Yeah, absolutely. But the main talking point from this race is top of the table, top of the ladder, championship clash. Max Verstappen and Hamilton taking each other out, and boys, retribution, I think. But Max Verstappen handled with a 3-place grid penalty for the next race. Some people saying too harsh, some people saying not harsh enough. Opinions?
Yeah, same.
Was that the crash Jamie put up on the group chat when his head went on the wheel or something like that?
Yes, that is. That's where Max Verstappen handed.
That's a crash and a half.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. It was good value, mainly for us watching it here and Danny Rick leading the race, and then his two main rivals taking each other out. But look, it's a fantastic result for McLaren, being one of the more consistent teams this year. But the other talking point, many people have mentioned, is that wasn't the only win for an Aussie at Monza that day. Oscar Piastri in the F2 also claiming first place in the feature race on the Sunday, so a double for the Aussies. But that wasn't the only win for that either. We move on to the American Open. Raducanu winning her final, becoming, I think, the first person to go through without losing a set as just a qualifier. Which is
I think it was the first ever qualifier to win a Grand Slam. Like,
it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's crazy enough in itself, but to not lose a set.
What's her world ranking?
That's history, I think. That's history.
It was like 150 or something.
She was a massive outsider.
Wow.
But a lot of people backed her. She had an incredible Wimbledon run on home soil. But yeah, I don't think anyone would have predicted to go through and not only win the US Open as an 18-year-old, but to not drop a set. Just an absolutely dominant performance. But she wasn't
especially on the hard courts.
Oh, absolutely.
I still can't believe how young she is and winning those sorts of tournaments.
Yeah, it makes me feel shit about myself. That's for sure.
I've lived well.
Benny's happy. Benny's content. But that wasn't the only major talking point from the US Open with Aussie boy Dylan Alcott completing the Gold Slam. So he has won all 4 major tennis tournaments this calendar year, as well as a gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics. First time it's ever been done by a para-athlete or an athlete. It's an outstanding achievement.
It is, definitely.
100%. Well, Scotty, you, me, and Jamie on the most recent episode of Chat from the Back podcast even touched on this. And I want to get, I want to get your guys' opinions. We've both said, without a doubt, from what he's done in the past and just doing this alone, Australian Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. If anyone questions that, they are not Australian.
And is he also a shock? Because I think for Tennis Australia Player of the Year, they get the John Newcombe medal. I'm pretty sure it is.
Mm-hmm.
Surely he's got that wrapped up.
Yep. I think it's probably only between him and Ash Barty with her winning Wimbledon, but to win all 4 major tournaments and the gold medal at the Olympics,
it's unheard of.
No, it's the first time it's ever been done.
I love Ash Barty to the moon and back.
Oh, absolutely.
But give it to the guy. He's done well. He's done that well. It's not
at the end of the day, who honestly thought that you'd ever see something like that happen? Like the gold, not just the season Grand Slam, but the Golden Slam for the year. For only every 4 years there's a chance of it happening. And
I think winning all 4 major Grand Slams in a calendar year, I think he's only done like a handful of times.
I
Probably
think,
less than.
I think the last person to do it, like that of note, can't really say too much because for the. I'm trying to think of the word. Like, I don't want to say Paralympic because it's not Paralympic, but you know what? I think everyone knows what I'm getting at. I think besides that, because I'm not too sure on that, the last person, male to do it in any form was Rod Laver.
I think so. Yeah.
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 I'm pretty sure it was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I couldn't confirm nor deny what you've said because I honestly don't know. But as I said, it's like it's an achievement that not many people could do and or have done. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And for anyone
I seriously doubt you're going to see it again for a while.
No. 100%. And like for anyone that's not really a tennis fan, like I'll watch it if it's on, but that's the equivalent of of what Arsenal did in the early 2000s, going undefeated for the season, or doing it in the NRL or the AFL or Super Rugby or any sport around the world. What Alcott has done is the equivalent of going undefeated for a whole season, winning your league.
Yeah, it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
And the fact is, he's also just a genuine Aussie bloke too. I mean, I think every interview after he's won, what are you going to do now? I'm going to go sink 1,000 beers.
Well, didn't you see the footage of him actually
sinking beers from the trophy?
He actually sculled it. Like,
now that's an Australian, mate.
There's a reason our Prime Minister once held a world record for sculling, and tell you what, it's in our blood.
Yeah,
it makes us who we are.
It is
exactly.
Not just the fact that we're ahead of everyone else in time because of where we're located on the globe, but it's because we can drink piss.
Well, it's in the lyrics of one of the most iconic Aussie songs, "Land Down Under" by Men at Work. The lyrics in that song, we're men chunder, like
we don't chunder because we cook bad. We chunder because we drink.
We don't drink bad either. We drink well because we're getting to that point. We know how to tip ourselves over.
But
basically, we can handle our piss.
We can, but sometimes we can't. But then it's tactical because then you know what? We can then.
I've seen Benny at a Satday game before.
Yeah, same.
They're brutal days.
Benny at a Satday game, but look, that moves us on. The unfortunate part about being on this side of the globe is the fact that we get Champions League football or any kind of European football at the early hours of the morning, and Champions League returned this week with a massive upset. Swiss side Young Boys defeating Premier League heavyweights Manchester United 2-1. Shocking times for your boys, Ash?
Yep. Don't know what happened there, but just not the day for us, unfortunately.
Well, I think going back into the touchy subject, pardon the pun, of what we were talking about at the end of last week's show, maybe United need to try and fork out the money to get Sigurdsson and Adam Johnson off, because you know what? At least they're two guys that can beat Young Boys.
They could.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they've proven
they've beaten Young Boys, but they've definitely handled them well.
They've been proven to beat off Young Boys. So,
silly Benny, you can't be saying things like that. They were both young girls. We don't assume genders on this show.
Exactly.
We don't assume genders. But yeah, look, the only another talking point from that game: Aaron Wan-Bissaka sent off in the 40th minute. Red card challenge, boys.
I didn't get.
Same.
I haven't seen any of it.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it, unfortunately. But
I heard someone say, and not even a United fan, I think they're a Liverpool fan, and they said they're not sure if it was a red, but
it was one of those 50-50s. As a footballing commentator myself, it's one of those orange card situations. You can see it given a red, you can see it given a yellow. In this case, the referee stamped his authority down and said red card, and then Jay Linger's off the bench with a wonderful assist for Young Boys to win 2-1. That's all I can say about that. But when another big game for the sister Manchester side, Manchester City 6, RB Leipzig 3. I think it's the third highest scoring game in Champions League history.
And there were more goals scored than the fans at the ground, apparently.
Yeah.
At the empty had, they call it.
The empty had.
Well, even Guardiola's come out and said, we need fans there. It's bad if the manager, if you've won the league, you were in the Champions League final last season, you're pushing to win it. Why are the fans not going to the City games?
Because they're a plastic club. That's why.
Sorry, what was
Plastic
that?
club with plastic fans.
Yeah.
That's what
Well-
oil money gets these days.
Well, in saying that, who knows? Maybe they might have been the fans there. They were just dressed up as empty seats.
Maybe. I think it's only because there was a good photo. It's pretty much the empty bays of where Leipzig supporters would have been sitting.
Yeah.
But with the climate at the moment, no German fans actually travelled across to Manchester. So yeah, there was a massive empty part of the stadium there. But good game nonetheless.
No,
Nine
a
goals.
9-goal thriller. Like,
Leipzig fought their way back into that as well. Only to just be
What was it? The
basically
first
losing
ever,
legs, yeah.
first ever Leipzig player to get a hat trick in a Champions League game, I believe, as well.
Yeah, fantastic
Yeah, it is,
achievement
yeah.
there. But I think another big game, Ajax 5 defeating someone 0, but Sebastian Haller scoring 4 goals on his Champions League debut. It's incredible.
You shouldn't do that any time in a Champions League game, let alone your debut in the Champions League. Like it's
like usually with them fixtures, they're like 2-0, maybe 2-1, 1-0, something like that.
Yeah,
But you're scoring all those goals in your first debut.
Yeah.
Sign him up, mate.
yeah.
honestly, I think it's one of the highest scoring opening match weeks for a Champions League ever. Like it's ridiculous the amount of even Ajax Sporting Lisbon 5-1 with Haller scoring 4 goals. He had Liverpool and Milan play out a 5-goal thriller with Liverpool getting up 3-2. 6-3 Leipzig, Man City, as I said before. But then you also had Bayern Munich, who will go ahead and maybe win this Champions League, beating Barcelona 3-0. That is a massive fall from grace. But it's an improvement because the last time these two met, it was an 8-2 win to Bayern Munich.
So I think it's
I
think it's absolutely hilarious to see what's happening at Barcelona.
Oh,
Do you reckon they're missing Messi heaps, or?
I
think they're just missing money.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
They have got themselves in a world of debt, and they're not getting out of it.
No. And honestly, I think you can also, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can also partially put the blame on UEFA for not being as strict on Barcelona with the financial fair play guidelines. I think they're only just starting to come in now.
Yeah. Yeah. If UEFA kind of stamped it out earlier,
Yeah.
Barcelona wouldn't be in this sort of situation. But yeah, it also comes down to the president making ridiculous monetary deals, like 120 million for Antoine Griezmann when he's only rated at 75 million.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amount of money. And the money they forked out for Felipe Coutinho and then Ousmane Dembele, both wonderful footballers, don't get me wrong, but just they don't suit the Barcelona system.
No.
Dembele's had an unfortunate run of injuries as well, so he hasn't lived up to the potential. Great footballer and world-class talent, but yeah, it just hasn't gone right for Barcelona in the last few years.
Well, I think we might have touched on it in the first episode or something with Messi leaving, and I think Barca actually wanted to get rid of Braithwaite, but he only signed I think January mid last season or last summer, and Barca wanted to get rid of him, and he's turned around and gone, yeah, no, I'll stay.
He was one of their better goal scorers too. They signed him when they had a massive injury crisis. I remember that they ran out of strikers, and so they signed Braithwaite during an emergency period that La Liga allows. And he scores goals for Barcelona, but he also misses some sitters. But that's every footballer. But yeah,
even the best footballers can miss one goal in front of it.
Look, what was it? That one game at Old Trafford with Fernando Torres, open goal, missed it. Yet still Torres is one of the greatest goal scorers in league history.
Yeah.
No matter where he's been. So
footballers are human; they make mistakes. But and a lot of the fans have turned on Barcelona as well, and recently as well, like Umtiti refusing to leave, and I'm with the players. It's in their contracts. They don't have to leave.
Yeah,
it's not their problem that management has royally screwed themselves over. Credit to the players.
It was their decision to sign him in the first place. So
but give massive credit to the players like Sergio Busquets, Gerard Piqué, and Jordi Alba, all taking substantial pay cuts to allow Barcelona to function.
Yeah. So,
which they could have turned around and went, no, just pay me.
Yeah, absolutely, they could have.
So, are we looking at possibly the end of Barcelona being one of the dominant teams in Spain, or do you reckon this is just a little blip on the radar for maybe a season or two?
I think it's 50-50 to say, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon not. there'll still be a heavyweight in Spain, but Champions League maybe not.
Yeah, continentally, I don't see them performing well. They're still one of the biggest clubs in the world. Like they're always going to have those loyal supporters behind them, and like sponsors will
Depending
still
on what-
come in.
Well, the
Like-
supporters that are supporting the players that are there at the time.
But look, it's they're also the kind of club like no matter what happens to them, sponsors will still come in to be a part of like Barcelona.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to go under like we have seen clubs do in the past. But it is a massive fall from grace for them, and they may bounce back in the next decade or so. But
Yeah.
it all just comes
Yeah.
down to
It's gonna be a long battle.
Backroom manage. Yeah, it's a long road ahead.
And something major is going to have to happen there. So
Well, potentially in the next decade, like, do you see him going into the new third tier of continental football, the Conference League, at any point?
I don't see them in
well,
the
you see-
conference. I can definitely see them in Europa.
Yeah. Well, like looking at like who do you think out of the current big European teams do you see being the next one to drop into the Conference League? Because mine and Jamie's team, Flynyard, we played in the first game of the Conference League the other night, which was luckily at a good time for us here in Australia. I think it was 12:30 p.m. Like just ticked over after midnight, a.m. Sorry, 12:30 a.m. If you could see any one of the so-called big European giants dropping down there, who do you think it would be, or what country do you see them coming from next?
I don't know if Real Madrid, because like it's just a guess, could be Madrid. Like even though they're losing players and stuff since.
With Madrid though, they're not in the financial situation that Barcelona is.
Yeah.
Not as dramatically, but they are still in debt as well.
In debt, but I think they're better equipped and better suited to keep going status quo.
Mhm.
For lack of a better term, for me, I was sort of thinking, like you've got Tottenham in there, like maybe
If
an
I'm being
Arsenal
honest, I think it'll be Juventus.
Juve. Or what about
they
Inter or
have
AC?
struggled. AC, I think will do all right. They're still sitting pretty in Serie A at the moment because I'm an AC Milan supporter. But Juventus have struggled. They've lost Ronaldo. They lost their way a little bit, and they're struggling massively in Italy at the moment. So I could see them. Obviously, they're a massive club. They could probably come back.
What do you think about Manchester United, possibly like with the Glazers and stuff? What they decide to do with the club in the future? The Glazer family.
They aren't going to sell.
Okay.
Not a chance.
No chance.
Greed.
Yeah, they're the only chance that you have of the Glazer selling is all of them passing over. That's
At once.
that's really
that's
the only
pretty
chance.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
All these American owners, they're not going to sell.
Yeah.
And it's good. Unfortunately, like football is a business, and clubs like Manchester United and Liverpool, who are at that like global superiority, they have fans everywhere in the world. They're always going to keep making money, whether that's through like player transfers or through shirt sales and matches.
And at the end of the day,
I'd say memberships overseas as well. That's where your money would go.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, you got to look at it. Those American owners will cut off their nose to spite their face.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Yep. They don't care. Like
the proper term is they don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
Because for every 10 people that say that's it, I'm not putting my money, like using Man United as an example with the Glazers and all the issues there. For every 100 people that say, you know what, I'm done, I'm not putting my money into United anymore, screw the Glazers, there's going to be 10,000 more that go, okay, here's my money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, as much change as people want to make for the teams, it's not going to do anything because there's 10 times as many people that are going to be, oh no, here's my money, I'm here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
absolutely.
They are on that global superiority stage. But we've gone off on a massive tangent because that tends to happen when we're very passionate about something. Another sporting related news: the NRL Finals kicked off
last week.
Last week. But this starting last night there's no second chances now. And Manly have come out and thumped the Roosters.
Yeah,
which puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I had Manly winning. I did have them winning. I didn't have them winning by that big a margin. was pretty much to the point where I knew they would win, so I didn't really watch much of the game. I sort of flicked over, checked the score every now and again. Can't say I'm surprised, but I still think the shot that everyone's dealing with is coming from last week, and the Panthers losing to South Sydney. So now the Panthers are playing Parramatta tonight, but Panthers are now also without Brian Pottle. So
Yeah,
I think
a lot of people had Panthers.
I didn't actually expect the Manly to smash the Roosters. I thought it would have been a lot closer.
Yeah.
If you saw my predictions on the website, like I think I had it about an 8-point gap. Like I thought Roosters might get 1 or 2 tries at the end and make it a bit closer than what it actually was. But
I haven't really paid much attention into it this year with the NRL.
Yeah, mate. I think there's a lot of us that are losing interest in rugby league.
Well, it's becoming too predictable now.
100%. Well, I was saying to someone, like, you look at Penrith losing the South last week. I think the big thing, I put it in the article last week previewing the game, was losing the trail. How will that affect South? I thought it would be detrimental to South, but it actually worked in a big positive because usually with South, with Latrell Mitchell in there, you watch where Latrell is and you know where they're attacking from.
Yeah.
Last weekend, South were so unpredictable in their attack that the Panthers' defensive line, which is very systematic of a defense, very similar to Melbourne, they struggled to click on to what play was happening, who's running the ball, is it going to be a sweep play? Like they had very little in-game knowledge of what was happening right at that moment.
Yeah, it looked like they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
The thing is, I say it as well when I play sports. If I don't know what I'm doing, how are they meant to know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the
yeah.
Rabbitohs knew what they were doing, and it's come away in the end.
Yeah. Again, talking to someone, and they were saying what they think it was is Wayne Bennett has done a very New England Patriots style of play this year, and in the games that South have won and all that, they've gone out, done their job, not overplayed their hand, left some tricks up the sleeve, and now they're coming out with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair comment?
That's fair. Yeah. It'll be interesting what happens tonight.
Sorry, boys. What was that, Ash? What were you saying?
Hey, Scotty, you go. Continue on. No, sorry.
I was just saying it'll be very interesting what happens tonight's game against the Eels with Penrith.
Yeah.
But yeah, go.
You know what?
Yeah, I think Wayne Bennett's done a good job over the years. Like he will go down as one of the best coaches in rugby league in the modern game.
Oh, of all time.
Yeah, 100%. What he did with Brisbane in the early 2000s is absolutely incredible, and he just keeps producing talent with wherever he goes.
Yeah. But touch on tonight's game, you would have seen it in my preview predictions article that went up yesterday. I'm taking Parramatta tonight, boys.
Yeah, same. I can see an upset.
I just think.
Well, this time I'm betting with my heart, so I'm going Eels.
Yeah. See, for me,
I'm going with the team that will piss off most of my mates, so I'm going with Penrith.
Yeah. Oof.
fair call.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, I think watching the game last week, what I did, flicking between that and the prelim final in the AFL, Panthers seemed very tired.
Yeah. That has been one of the things I've noticed a lot as well.
Yes, and like everyone's like, oh, they just missed out on a couple of plays. I'm like, but the only reason they're missing out on those plays is tiredness. See, I think my opinion is that Panthers were banking on winning last week and having this week off. That's why they didn't rest anyone in the final round of the season against Parramatta, who they come up against tonight. Parramatta rested like 3/4 of their squad, and I see that being the major difference. Those Parramatta players are coming in they played a tough game last week against the Knights, but they're coming in having recently had a week off. They're rested. Panthers are coming in wounded. Tottle's already out. Cleary copped a hit last week, grabbed his shoulder.
I mean, if you look at Penrith throughout the year, like when they were unbeaten and when State of Origin hit, that's when they started to hit the slump. Penrith.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that, mate. I think obviously last season finished a lot later than it has in the past, about a month later. I think Panthers were banking on with how solid they were last year. They were banking on winning it last year, and they knew that if they win it last year, they get into the finals this year, go get to this week or next week, the prelims, it's deemed acceptable because you're coming in off the shortened preseason, but they went so hard and then Melbourne just blew them off the park, showing the professionalism. I think they've just I think just last year this year, they're just dead. I think they're cooked. I don't know if it's something they're doing with the training. Well, I've seen some people on social media saying, but everything got moved up to Queensland. But the thing is, at the end of the day, every single team is in the same boat. And honestly, I think it would be absolutely hilarious if Penrith don't win the comp, because the amount of talk coming from the Panthers fans the last 18 months has been ridiculous. And at the end of the day, if they don't win it this year, in that time frame of them dishing out all the sledging, they wouldn't have won a comp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll have to agree with what Benny said. I reckon Penrith expected to win last week just so they could have a break. But now they're playing another week again and they're dead. So
and coming into it, there's no second chances. It's a knockout final. They can't risk resting players to try and get them ready for next week. So tough game.
Saying that, whoever wins this game isn't winning next week. That's a guarantee.
Yep.
I'm calling that right now. They're playing Melbourne.
Melbourne are too good.
I honestly think already it's a case of Melbourne winning by whatever margin they want against whoever qualifies in the grand final.
Yeah,
I think
it's ridiculous how good they are. But the
unless they
professionalism
absolutely have an absolute shocker of a game, I don't. Yeah. Although I hope Eels get in and beat them, but
Well, if anyone can,
winning, so.
if anyone can, it is the Eagles, because you look at what was it, just over a month ago that Parramatta actually did beat Melbourne.
It's possible. It's always possible.
Every team is beatable, but it all comes down to who's got the fitness, who's got the game plan, and look, it's going to be a good game tonight. I reckon it's going to be a very tough, hard fought contest, but winner of tonight is not making it through.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can only hope.
Yeah, you can only. Anyway, boys, anything else to talk about? Anything on the mind?
No, just let's get ready for another weekend of sport, I reckon.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Premier League's back tonight. No racing for the F1s this week. They're back next week. AFL Grand Final next week, so that'll be touched up in next week's show.
Yeah.
Massive game in the NRL tonight. But
I'll also be touching on the AFL Grand Final in Chat from the Back this week. I've got a few quite a few episodes coming out. I think I've tallied up about 3 or 4 episodes I'm producing this week for Chat from the Back for the Grand Final. So
lovely stuff.
It's going to be a busy week.
That's good.
Absolutely. Busy week of sport. Busy week of checking out fanbabblesports.com. But boys, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
It's always fun here.
We don't get yelled at by the Overlord, but look, it's been fun. Enjoy the drinks, enjoy the weekend of sport, and we'll see you all next week.
Cheers.
See you for Satday Sessions next week.